Live from New York, it's Ask an Engineer.
Hey everybody, and welcome to an exciting Ask Engineer. I'm Lady Ada. I don't have hiccups, and we got an exciting show for you tonight. This is kind of the second last show of the year.
Yeah,
so
we got a lot of stuff going on.
We got a lot of stuff going on. We are nonstop. We got some really exciting news for you this week, and of course, all the videos and tutorials and extras and new products that you've come to expect here from the Adafruit factory in downtown Manhattan. This is not a green screen. I can actually go over there and touch the puppets.
Yeah.
But we've got so much stuff to talk about. Let's jump right in. So what's on the show tonight?
On tonight's show, the code is entangled. 10% off until 11:59 p.m. Eastern time tonight. That gives you 10% off all things in stock. Everything except for gift certificates, Ada box subscriptions, and of course software. You are supporting these people. This is Adafruit. This is us. When you purchase something, this is what pays the bills here.
Look at these nice people. Wouldn't you like to make sure that they have a good, happy life and they can...
You too can be entangled in their destiny together. Show and tell, people around the world showing and sharing their projects, and a special visitor came by, Chris Young, and we will talk about that and more. Back to mailbags that stop by, read some letters that y'all sent us, time travel, look back in the world of hackers, makers, artists, engineers, pioneers, special events, and more that's happened in the maker world.
Dude, so much.
Made in New York, scenes from the Adafruit factory. Nibis friendly cloud entity will tell us about Internet of Love Things. We're changing the name.
Yeah.
3D printing, Raspberry Pi news, some new products. We're going to answer your question, have a top secret section, a trivia question, all that and more on, you guessed it, Ask an Engineer.
Is this not the most fun, most interesting hour of electronics, news, trivia, prizes, etc.?
I don't know because I don't do anything else.
Okay, but I don't think there's anything else that we even know about that's been like this, a new show that's been running for, 8 years?
Yeah, I don't know.
No, there isn't.
This
is it.
I don't get out that much.
Okay.
Okay.
We just have to keep doing this thing because we got to do this thing.
Yeah. Okay. So once again, code's entangled. If you're looking to save some bucks and support an open source hardware company, Adafruit, use the code. So we got a bunch of stuff going on. First up, programming note. This is Wednesday, so that means it's Ask an Engineer 8 p.m. Show and tell. We just did it 7:30 p.m. And next week we might do something a little different. Stay tuned to the blog, the social medias, and more. If you're still ordering stuff, last second, we do have same-day delivery in New York City. Just when you check out, if it's a zip code in Manhattan that we do same day, it'll let you know, and you can do it. Our shipping guidelines, basically, if you didn't purchase something yet, it's probably not going to arrive before Christmas.
It's over.
But that doesn't mean anything because you can give gifts all year round.
That is true.
Yeah, on our
And some gifts like Ada box subscriptions, it'll show up later, but you can give it now.
I'll be talking about gift certificates in a second.
Okay.
On our website, we have this red banner-like thing, and it says, Adafruit will not be shipping orders Monday, December 26th, and Monday, January 2nd. All orders placed after 11 a.m. Eastern time on Friday, December 23rd will go out on Tuesday, December 27th. Any orders placed after 11 a.m. Eastern time Friday, December 30th will go out on Tuesday, January 3rd. Okay.
You've been warned.
You've been warned. Next up, free enamel pen. So when you purchase something on the site right now, $99 or more, you get a pin. $200 or more for UPS ground. We're still doing that.
Sweet.
We are just running out of stuff, though.
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind.
So people are like, oh, I waited the last minute and I want to get all of your most popular things. And it's like, well, they're popular, so they're gone.
So that's the way
We'll get more soon, but hey.
So we're running out of stuff. That's good news.
It's popular.
Okay. Check out the Adafruit Holiday gift guides no matter what. Give you some ideas. And don't forget, roll in with an Adafruit gift certificate. Print it out. It looks like money, which is nice. You can give them a gift certificate. It automatically goes over email. You can also print it out, fold it out. And our gift certificates don't expire. There's nothing weird. You don't get signed up for newsletters.
No.
You don't get sold out.
No.
Nothing like that at all.
Not like everything else in the universe.
Not like everything else. So if you want to see things like that and give the gift of open source, this is a gift certificate for you. Okay. Later, we had probably one of the most special show and tells we've ever had doing this for like 5 years or so.
It was the most special, and we had just a huge number of people. We had 15 total people, humans, appearing on the show and tell, not even including us. We count as 2 also, so it's 17 total.
Yeah.
We didn't have the dancing cat. It's a long story. We'll talk about that some other day. Okay, so let's go through this. There's a lot of people, so bear with me. We started off with Noah and Pedro, and they talked about this week's 3D Hangout, Wednesday Hangout project. They made a custom wireless gamepad using Cherry MX switches to make a custom keyboard. They other milled a PCB for a Feather, Bluefruit, and they basically just showed like how you can make your own custom keyboard or like key controller very easily. So it's a really good tutorial project for people who want to build that kind of project, which I think it's a popular project. People want to turn existing keyboards, want to make custom keyboards. So check it. We'll show the video, and of course the tutorial is already live on Learn. Scott from Adafruit Northwest came by and showed some. It's not out yet. Don't ask. Scott loves showing off the don't out yet. So check out his
big announcement.
Yeah, he's showing off the new Circuit Playground SAMD. So we've been working on that. This is Rev B that he's got,
which runs the open source variant called CircuitPython.
CircuitPython, which is a MicroPython derivative. It has a slightly different API, which we'll talk about a lot when we release it, and why we decided to make the changes to make it easier for beginners to get started, although you can also, of course, use MicroPython and many other boards that we carry as well. He also got native CapTouch working on the SAMD processor, which is something that we've been working with Atmel to do. There's built-in capacitive touch capability on that chip, so you don't even need another pin. And so we worked with Atmel and basically got them to give us the code examples necessary to make the capacitive touch natively actuated, so like no extra pins are needed, and like you get like the auto auto calibration that it comes with QTouch. So it's kind of cool. It's kind of blobbed away into a little library, but we got it working. Then Shai and Kevin showed up, and Kevin worked on a lamp for, I guess, Shai's birthday, 34th birthday. It's an Internet of Love device. Uses a Feather, Bluefruit, and NeoPixels to make a lamp that you can put photographs of the person in, and it will light them up in a really beautiful way, and then you can control the color using the Bluefruit app. Orlando, who teaches a class on analog sensor design, I guess, built an EMG, like a muscle sensor that it's controlled by his arm, and then he did a PowerPoint presentation for the class, and every time he snapped his fingers, it would sense the muscle from snapping, and it would advance the slides. So it just kind of like went like this, which is kind of cool, actually. Like, that's what I want. Like snap.
Like
and
my advertising days, I used to do that. I'd be like, look,
next slide,
solving business
next
problems,
slide.
solving business problems, solving business problems,
Previous
metrics,
slide, next slide. No, whoa.
co-opetition, synergy, boil the ocean.
Okay. Thanks, Mark.
Sorry about that.
And so you got Snap to Advanced. So check that out. Really cool demo. And then Double Snap to go backwards. So you talked about the analog circuitry a little bit. Really cool stuff. He's going to write that out for the Learn system. Roberto showed off his Halloween project from this year, which was a Borg cube. Now, I'm actually not a huge Star Trek fan enough to know the details of the Borg cube, but it looked like he had the spaceships attacking it.
Yeah.
And it's actually that big? In the show, it's like a couple miles back.
Yeah, and the other thing is the Borg cube is gigantic, and even a Galaxy class like Enterprise is very small.
Okay, but he had these styrofoam ones that were shooting the cube.
And he used flowing EL wire to make it look like
NeoPixels and like
LED
it can
go both ways. It could be phasers or it could be the Borg cutting beam.
And what was the LED matrix? What was that emulating?
Just the insides of the board
cube,
cube, because
okay.
there's lighting and stuff.
Oh, it's light inside. Okay,
Mhm.
I have to catch up. Somehow I've watched like dozens of episodes of Next Generation, but I never saw one with Borg in it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what to tell
I
you.
don't know.
I like the one where Picard lives a whole life. You probably
Yeah,
saw that one 10 times.
The Trial.
Nope.
No, different one.
No, he plays a few.
The flute. Oh yeah, he plays the flute. Okay, that's cool. Right. Next up, Richard showed off some Christmas gifts that he made for his family. Some weather-affected cloud lights. So they actually look like clouds, little fluffy clouds, and they have an ESP8266 inside of them, I think. And he connected to Adafruit I/O to get the weather, and then would display different light effects on the clouds. So the cloud would actually like turn blue if it was raining, and it would turn rainbowy when it was like July 4th and other good stuff. And also he's working on machine access for the hackerspace using a chip card. So you got a chip card reader from DigiKey, and he's using that. Brend, the dev, showed off a really, really cool Pi Zero wrist-mounted computer made with felt and 3D printed PLA. Really sweet. Hopefully he'll show up some photos, and we'll post them on the blog, our website. It's got like a little display, and it got like a teensy and like a control pad. Very futuristic. Yeah, and then Daniel and his 2 young child assistants. For a school project, they built some circuit playground projects. And I'm totally going to build learn tutorials with these. It's a great idea. One was a magical crystal ball, and when you waved your hand over it, it detected the light sensor detected your hand, and it would light up the crystal ball. So what a cool idea. And then the other one was a wizard staff, and the young lady who made the wizard staff, she used the accelerometer. So the crystal ball used the light sensor, and the wizard staff, when she tapped it on the ground, it would light up the ball at the top, so it would light up and it would like cast a spell. And then if she pointed it out, it would detect the tilt with the accelerometer, and it would also have a different spell, and you could rotate it to change the spell. So like, this is a really cool staff. I mean, this staff was like 5 feet tall, but using circuit playgrounds. So these are like sweet projects. It's magical. Zachary showed off 2 projects. One was an AT-Tiny 44 with some buttons to make a Simon Says. And they said one thing that he saw was because one of the piezos, the beepers, was on a programming pin, when he programmed it, it made noise. So he actually made a tool that you program in line. You put in line with your AVR programmer, and it would hiss out the sound of programming. Yeah. And so he could kind of detect what was going on with the programming, and if the programming was working out, by listening to the beeps and bloops. Last but not least, Scott gave some shout outs, some quick news. Someone, I don't know, the member of King Crimson, I guess, passed away recently, so talked about how they were so inspiring. The widow of Ray Wilson, who is also an analog synthesizer developer, warned people, hey, watch out for if you solder a lot with lead solder, make sure to wear gloves, wash your hands very well afterwards. Yeah. If you're soldering, use a desktop filter fan, very important. And be careful not to breathe too many fumes. And if you're working with FR4, of course, have a lot of dust collectors, and try to avoid using FR4 and cutting FR4 by hand if you can. And then Roland has a TB03 coming out. And then definitely not last but not least, we had an update from Chris Young from room 207. He's at St. Vincent's Hospital. So he's checking in.
Yeah. So
nothing's stopping him. He's live casting from the hospital.
Yeah. So Chris uses a lot of Adafruit stuff to communicate, and he was unable to talk. He had to get a tracheotomy, and it was looking pretty dark. He sent us a note, and you can watch the show last week, and he's like, I just wanted to say thank you, Adafruit. I think, I'm going to meet my maker. But, he said he had a lot of things to do, a lot of things to share, and a lot of things that he still wants to do. And we talked to his family, and we called the hospital. The whole company sent him a video. And, whether you believe in a higher power, or spirits, or whatever, it does seem to work if you send positive vibes. Chris broadcasted live from his hospital bed, just to let us know what he's working on and more. And one of the things that Chris said in his email is he said, for the brief period of time where I wasn't able to talk, I appreciated all of the people I know that are disabled who can't speak. So he's thinking of projects to do with them. Chris Young is one of the bright lights in the maker community, And thank you everybody so much who sent him so many well wishes and more. It worked.
Yeah.
So, we do show and tell for lots of reasons. Knowing that it can help someone and then someone knows that they can help someone is the biggest reason. So thank you everyone. As we end 2016, always get your work out there. You never know the impact it's going to have on someone in someone else's life. So, Chris, we'll see you on the show next week.
Okay.
All right.
And into the new year.
And
all right, thank you for everyone's patience. There's
the
so
show and
many great new products.
All participants on the
projects.
show and tell get an as seen on the show and tell sticker. Email support@adafruit.com and we will send you out a sticker. It's part of the Adafruit Live series. Today we hit 200,000 subscribers on YouTube. And let me tell you something about that. We did it the hard way.
Did we pay for people to subscribe?
No,
Did we lie, cheat,
we
steal?
do not get any help from YouTube at all because we are not a marketable thing according to the algorithm. And this is directly from someone at YouTube and Google. So here's the thing, folks. Every single subscriber is someone who wants to watch open source. They want to learn how to code. They want to do stuff. This is every single one of them. We may have met every single subscriber.
You probably
So
have.
thank you everyone so much. 200,000 subscribers. It's a lot. And the only reason that this happened is because of all of you.
Thank you, everybody who subscribed. I thank you, everyone
Yep.
who watches and supports us.
Yeah.
It's an awesome thing to get right before the end of the year. I
Yeah.
like that.
That's a nice
It's
goal.
a nice way to finish up because we spend so much time and effort and love on our videos. We think it's one of the best ways to teach people electronics.
Yeah. Desta this week we did a few things. We'll show kind of the follow-up, but the big news is Circuit Playground was added to the Arduino IDE. You can download the hourly builds and it just works. So watch the full video and more.
And soon, the next release of Arduino, the official release, will have it built in as well as the library.
Yep.
So it'll make it even easier for people to get started with Circuit Playground.
Yep.
If you want to try it out right now, you can get the
Yep.
hourly build, which is the beta one release.
And if you want to help us, tweet at Arduino and Massimo in particular and tell them thank you.
Yes.
That's something that they were able to do with us. They told their team that this is important and they were able to get it done in a week.
Yes.
So thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next up. This is Tony D. Tony D wrapped up some holiday projects. This is MicroPython NeoPixel Holiday Fireplace with Tony D. If you're interested in MicroPython, watch the Tony D playlist over the holidays. You'll know everything.
Yep, it covers absolutely everything,
Yep.
and we're going to be doing so much more with CircuitPython and MicroPython in the
Yep.
coming year. This builds such a good foundation for us.
Yep.
For all of the projects people are going to want to build. I like it if we it's a good way to test, are we able to do many of the most popular kinds of projects? If so, it means we're on the right path.
Yep. Okay. Pack the mailbag. We read these letters from you, the community and audience, every single week at our all-company meeting called State of the Fruit. Lady Ada, maybe you can read this one.
I will. Your team is fantastic. I know you do a lot of design. It's what sets your company apart from the rest. I'm so happy with your other teams too. An idea or a new part becomes available, getting that object in front of you or bringing it into focus is paramount. Your stock and shipping departments in this respect are one of the best I know. My orders of Wednesday afternoon and Thursday morning were in my hands and on my bench on Friday afternoon. Thank you for running such an efficient company. You are a model for the rest of us. Your weekly shows, right now, are also a professional model for the internet. It's a special privilege that you let us watch what you do weekly. My 2 cents, Edward. Thank you, Edward.
Thanks, Ed.
We're doing it right now.
Yep.
We're doing this thing.
Time travel. Look back in the world, makers, hackers, artists, engineers, news about Adafruit, and more. So this one, this is interesting because this was every week when I look at the time travel thing, there's always times where we appeared in like a really big publication. So back in 2011, the Washington Post, I think it was pre-Amazon purchase,
Yeah.
wrote this big article about Adafruit, the growing maker movement.
I don't even remember this
You don't-
article.
You don't remember this.
No, I was in it, but
You were
I
in
don't remember
it. They said, Adafruit's using technology to teach STEM. This is the future. This is a very important thing. These are the things that, Washington Post in particular says, this is where it's heading, folks.
Okay. Sweet.
Okay. So this is the part of the show where I'm just like, I just got to tell people how it is.
Okay.
All right. So here's the deal, folks. We got emailed in August from the Washington Post about a STEM conference about teaching people, young kids in particular, online.
Okay.
Using the power of technology.
Yeah,
and everything.
like we got all these computers and the internet.
Yeah.
So let's use it.
Very important.
Yeah.
They needed a high-profile woman to talk.
I can have that.
Okay. They write articles about, don't waste jet fuel just to go to a conference for 5 minutes.
Isn't it important to reduce carbon emissions?
All sorts of things are important when you're a publication. You're trying to help folks understand how important certain things are.
Yeah.
And they wrote about Adafruit a long time ago. However, the executive producer, Allison of the Washington Post, invited you to speak at this event. It's a big deal. There was going to be educators, students. It will be live stream. There's more than 75 million unique users per month and all that stuff. So back and forth, emails, phone calls. And the end result is we feel strongly that you actually have to go there because it's a better experience for the sponsors. And by the way, do you want to sponsor? So one of the things that we've learned is be your own platform with media, because what organizations like Washington Post say is important is different than where the money comes from. Mm-hmm. And also, Washington Post is part of the same entity that has Twitch. So I don't think Twitch is saying the gamers have to come to a spot. No, they're streaming from their homes and everything.
I think Twitch has the right idea. I mean, that's the future, is that people will just watch. So that's reality TV, right? You don't go to a studio; you do it from home.
Yeah. So, anyways,
can we give a shout out to West Point?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, West Point. We did a live factory tour. We offer this all the time, and then of course, on stages and all these tech events. Oh, why can't we ever get women or diverse people speaking at events? What you don't see behind the scenes is a lot of us are saying, you want us to talk about manufacturing and how we teach STEM, how we get people together, all this show and tell stuff. Why wouldn't you let us do the same thing there?
Yeah, there was okay, so spend 2 days flying out here.
Yeah.
And then speak for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And then get back on a plane. It's like you lose a whole week.
Yeah, follow the money. You know why? Because the sponsors who give all that money, they want to be forced or force people to hang out with them.
Yeah.
So that doesn't scale well.
There is a little bit of the after you present, there's, can you also do a dinner? Can you ride a horse with them?
Yeah, anyways, so we're going to keep doing what we're doing. This is why we do this live show every single week.
I don't know why the horses got involved.
I don't know why horses were on the
But they were somehow. Okay.
Open source hardware. Arduino's open source hardware.
Is it?
It is.
It is true.
We make the Arduinos in the USA.
I like all these facts.
Here's Massimo.
This is factual. This really happened.
One of the co-founders of Arduino, holding the first Arduino made here at the Adafruit factory. And earlier we talked about, one of the videos we had is Circuit Playground has now been added to the Arduino IDE. Here are the commits in GitHub. This is a big deal for us.
Bam.
When you download the Arduino IDE from the hourly builds, you can see Adafruit Circuit Playground is in there. But wait, there's more. You can select it as a board.
Wow.
But wait, there's more. There's an online editor, which we're big fans of, because, I've heard rumors the desktop is dead. So, online, create.arduino.cc allows you just to use regular web browser, and you can select a board. And as of right now, Adafruit Circuit Playground's in it.
Yes.
And we have a video. So let's watch it, Lady Ada.
Let's watch it, because we made it.
Okay, so we're at the desk of Lady Ada. This is part of our
work desk.
Yeah,
edition.
that we're gonna here manufacturing and stuff.
Hey, we're doing this soon.
Yeah. So
Okay.
you're at the create.arduino.cc site.
Yep.
And there's a new, amazing feature board and more with the Arduino web editor. What is it?
Okay. So the Arduino web editor called Create is a fully online system for basically using the Arduino IDE, but without any software install. You just run it through a web browser. You have to install a little bit of a plugin, but it's really easy. Just installs onto your web browser, and I've already done that. And I have that running down here. I'm going to pause on that. And here's what is really neat. So here you can select what boards, and this shows you what boards are available. So everything from the Yun to the lily pad to little bits to the robot. And
That's new.
Check this out.
That's new.
That's new.
That's never been there before.
That was not there before.
Oh yeah.
So what we're gonna do is
You have a circuit playground.
this is a circuit playground. This is
Okay.
developer edition.
All right.
So here's what's gonna happen. I hope this works. Live demo. So you plug this in,
Yeah.
and
What happened next?
ooh, it recognized it. See,
Oh yeah.
which is really nice. It automatically detects, and it even loads up this blank sketch. So let's just try uploading the simple blank sketch.
Okay.
So again, it's been detected,
Yeah.
which is kind of nice. Also, I was like, oh, there's some ESP boards, but it says, okay, I found this board.
Yep.
Click upload. And what's neat is that the compilation happens on the Arduino servers using Amazon Web Services.
Yeah.
And then it's
Oh,
going
look.
to uploading, and then that's blank. Okay, so let's just do a really quick check. Let's just change this from delaying 1 second to delaying 1/10 of a second. So the LED, this will blink much, much faster. So let's try that.
Okay.
Okay, click upload.
Okay. Busy, he's doing stuff.
It's doing
going
stuff.
through this cable. Into
Right,
this.
yeah. Which is really neat. I mean, it's like you'll be able to run this on any computer. Okay, so it's uploading.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then blinking a lot faster. Okay, and so we're not done yet.
Okay.
You were like, oh, we're done. We're not done. Check this out. The libraries, all the libraries that we've written, all like 250, are available through the library manager in the web browser as well. So NeoPixel, sensors, like LED drivers, all of that stuff, that's all available as well. So for example, I've already said, hey, my favorite is the Adafruit Circuit Playground library, and it pulls in all the examples for you too. So for example, maybe let's upload the Combadge demo. I started playing Super Mario Run yesterday, so let's try uploading that Mario coin. We'll see how this goes. So now that's loaded up, we'll see if this works. Give it a second. Give it a second. Okay, programming, bootloading. Okay. So there you go. Got that coin sound coming out
Wow.
of
You've been transported to a magical world of Koopas.
it. Yeah. So tested it out. So it's live right now. You don't even have to download any special hourly build.
Yeah.
If you'd like to try your Circuit Playground instantly without any ID install or whatever board manager, check out create.arduino.cc, sign up, and it's free software available to any user of Circuit Playground.
Yeah. And I'm just going to run over to where the circuit playgrounds are made, and then I'm going to turn this off. Okay, we're back. So, we have some, besides the live behind the scenes that are currently on Instagram Live. So I think we're broadcasting to 6 networks right now.
Wow.
Oof. We have some made in NYC. So what we do is we like to make little videos of stuff we do here. So Lydia, can you guess what this is?
This is Noah cleaning out the selective solder machine. Looks like it's got a lot of dross in it.
Yeah.
And so we got to clean all that out. Oh, that's cool. It's a slow-mo solder. So
That's
pouring
nice.
it out of the nozzle.
Yeah.
And that's with the iPhone slow-mo cam. So that's like 350 degrees centigrade
Yeah.
molten solder.
Okay. What do you think this is?
This is our Arduino Unos. So we're making the Arduino Unos. This is
Yeah.
how we test them and program them.
Oh,
We have
yeah.
a Raspberry Pi inside actually that does the programming and testing. So it goes through and it tests
Oh.
the voltages and the pin connections and program the chips and check that it's enumerating correctly and all that good stuff.
Yeah. What do you think this is?
This is our first Circuit Playground tester. So we have a different one. Oh, no, sorry. This is a Flora tester. I'm sorry. This is the Flora tester for the modern Flora with a little NeoPixel in the center. And you can see it's flashing the test. It's checking for LEDs and
Yeah.
a switch. And then it's flashing the final bootloader and code, verifying it, and test done.
Yeah. And then this is
This is just cool.
This is spinning the board.
It's just cool.
And then this is just a little tester build, I think.
There's music with this one.
Okay.
Nice day.
Nice day. Is that including DigiKey?
Me and Microsoft. Yeah. Also made in New York is a bunch of tutorials. So I put the other ones in a video, so you can just go over these and then we'll show the other two that just came in.
Yeah, okay.
So what we do this week with learn.adafruit.com.
What we have this week is we have AdaBox 2, and so that's for people who received their AdaBox. They have a tutorial now on how to build the little Bluetooth rover that comes with AdaBox 2, so check that out. You can buy most of the components off Adafruit separately if you need to, and eventually we'll have it available as also a separate box. We have the magnetic shoelaces tutorial from last week's 3D Hangouts. We have the tutorial for last week's new product, which is the Adafruit Music Maker Featherwing, so how to use the Featherwing. And then we have a couple of tutorials from Carter Nelson. He's been doing some fun beginner projects. Circuit Playground D6 dice. So basically how to turn your Circuit Playground into a dice by shaking it to roll it, and then when you put it down, it will display 1 through 6. So you can use it to play games, or if you just want to generate random numbers. It talks a lot about how to do random number generation.
Okay. And do you want to talk about the two new ones that just came in?
Yeah, so we've got the Circuit Playground slouch detector, and this is kind of like a Lumolift, like a little wearable device that you can put in your pocket or attach to the back of your shirt or whatever, or put it like a necklace. And when you slouch, it will detect that and it will beep to let you know, hey, you should sit up straight. So maybe it'll help you avoid some back pain and get good posture. So yeah, see, it makes you think about it. So this is a little, it's only Circuit Playground. You get some batteries, and it uses the accelerometer to detect tilt, and then it beeps to let you know when you're slouching too much. And what's neat about this is there's 3 versions, and Carter goes through the project, with a very basic version, and then how to improve it, and then how to improve it. So showing how, as you build a project, you might find that it works, but there's ways to customize or improve it. So at first, for example, the angle's fixed, and then maybe he's like, okay, well, how about we make it so the person, when they are in the position that it's natural for them, they press a button and that programs it. And then, what if you want to make it so you have to be in that slouching position for more than 5 seconds, so that if you're just leaning, it doesn't beep annoyingly. So lots of different steps showing how to program your Circuit Playground to be a wearable posture detector.
Okay, but wait, there's more.
There's more. And then this week's 3D Hangouts project, we'll show a video in a moment, how to make a custom wireless gamepad with Cherry MX switches.
Roll the clip.
In this project, I'm going to show you how you can make a custom gamepad using Cherry MX switches. So this project idea was actually inspired by Pseudorandom Episode 4. Cherry MX switches are those really nice buttons that are found in most gaming keyboards, and they have this really nice, satisfying click. There's lots of options for standard keyboards, but I don't think I've seen a dedicated gamepad. The Adafruit Feather 32U4 Bluefruit LE is great for this project because it features Bluetooth Low Energy, and it has a built-in LiPo charger so we can recharge a battery over USB. So we'll only need a few parts to build this project, all of which you can find in the tutorial linked below. I designed a custom PCB in EagleCAD so that I could easily connect the switches to the Adafruit Feather without having to wire everything together. You can watch my full tutorial by clicking on the top right card or link in the description. I used the Other Mill Pro CNC machine to make the board. FR1 single-sided material has this thin layer of copper, which is ideal for making traces on a PCB. But if you don't have access to a CNC machine, you could use a service like Oshpark to fabricate your design, which actually produces much higher quality PCBs, but the Other Mill Pro does make nice prototypes in a fraction of the time. We'll start the circuit by installing the headers onto the Adafruit Feather. I find it much easier to solder headers if you have it fixed to a breadboard first. That way all the pins are nice and true. Then we can solder all of the pins to the headers. I ended up removing the plastic joiners from the headers because this allowed me to mount the Adafruit Feather flush with the PCB. and this was necessary for creating proper clearances once I mounted to the enclosure. I then inserted the header pins from the Adafruit Feather onto the non-copper side of the PCB and made sure the two were flush. Now I can secure the PCB to a vise with the copper side facing up. I first soldered the pins on all 4 corners so that it would stay in place, then soldered all of the signals. I made sure to trim all the pins short using a pair of flush cutters. Next, I can start mounting the Cherry MX switches to the board and use mounting tack to temporarily hold them in place while I solder. Then I flip the board over and solder the 2 pins from the switches. I repeated this process for the other buttons, but before soldering the last switch, I need to connect the LiPo battery and wire in a slide switch so I can power the circuit on and off. I'll need 2 wires to connect the slide switch to the Adafruit Feather. I used wire strippers to remove insulation from the tips and tin them by adding a bit of solder. I only need 2 of the 3 leads on the slide switch. Then I can tin and solder the 2 wires to the leads. I hooked up 1 wire to ground and the other to the enable pin on the Adafruit Feather. Plug in the LiPo battery and now I have a switch that can power the circuit on and off. To wrap up the circuit, I installed the last Cherry MX switch and soldered the remaining pins to the PCB. And that's pretty much it. Now we have our completed circuit. I drew up an enclosure in Fusion 360 and designed some custom keycaps so that I can print them in different colors. I put together a layer by layer tutorial as well, so you can check that out again in the top right card or link down below. I 3D printed the enclosure using the Sigma 3D printer from BCN 3D. But if you don't have access to a 3D printer, you could always use a service like 3D Hubs to make it for you. I used PLA material to 3D print the parts and they didn't require any support material. After the parts are finished, I can then fit the circuit into the enclosure. I designed a little holder so that I could easily mount the slide switch in the enclosure. I used mounting tack to secure the LiPo battery right next to the slide switch. And now I can place the top cover over the circuit. I designed the 2 pieces to snap fit together so they don't require any machine screws. Lastly, I can fit the 3D printed keycaps onto each of the Cherry MX switches. For the software, I used the Arduino IDE to program the Adafruit Feather, and with help from Hitach, we put together a simple sketch that uses the Bluefruit library to make the Adafruit Feather appear as a HID keyboard. The code is up on GitHub so you can download it and use it in your projects. I think this is a really cool project because it uses both CNC milling and 3D printing to make a custom project. Hey, if you like this project, be sure to let me know by giving it a thumbs up. Thanks so much for watching and be sure to check out our other projects for more 3D printing and electronics. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for even more projects from Adafruit every week.
Okay, so we'll do a couple other 3D printing things in a bit. Just a little bit of reminder from Nimbus, the friendly cloud entity, that Adafruit IO is still in beta. It is still free. You can do all sorts of Internet of Things that show people that you love them. That was the theme tonight from the show and tell. We have an Internet of Things Bill of Rights that we think is important so people know how their data is used, how they can remove it, how they can manage it, expectations, some good practices. We have all the Bill of Rights things on GitHub. It's a good idea to check it out if you have other ideas. We recently added one. Try not to make it so everything you do with Internet of Things can be turned into a giant botnet that makes everything terrible. 3D printing. Noah and Pedro printing a bunch. 3D printing takes a long time, so we do these time-lapse things. Here we go. This is dual extruded R2D2. Don't forget that now 3D Thursdays is now 3D Hangouts on Wednesdays, so you could have seen Noah and Pedro today. They do this every Wednesday. Next week is a recap of 2016. A lot happened in 3D printing. So tune in next week on Wednesday for 3D Hangouts with Noah and Pedro. Raspberry Pi news. One of our favorite makers on planet Earth, Naomi, made one of the coolest projects. And you...
So cyber.
Yeah, it's super cyber. You quoted was it from Neuromancer?
Yeah.
It's like, well, what do you do when someone makes you cry? And the response of the cyberpunk was, there's ducks that feed back into the system or something.
He asks, I don't remember who it was, but he asks Molly, he says, what do you do when you, because she has mirror shades, her eyes are covered. He says, what happens if someone makes you cry? And she says, I don't cry. And he says, well, what if someone did make you cry? And she said, I'd spit because the tear ducts are routed back into my mouth.
Yeah, that's cool. Anyways, check out her stuff.
So she got a little bit of the Molly Millions thing going on here.
Yeah. I sent off a suggestion to make. I thought this would make a good cover for the next Make magazine.
No, it's kind of neat because it's like you can tell it's like a keyboard and like it's a
Raspberry
flip
Pi
top.
project.
Oh,
So we'll see how that works out. Okay. Next up. Before we go on to new products, Lady A, the code is entangled.
We're entangled.
10% off in the Adafruit store all the way up to 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. Use it on checkout. Okay, here we go.
Use it, don't lose it.
Do your thing.
New, 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 new.
Okay, new products. Ain't a new product, but worth mentioning. This is Adafruit gift certificate. Need a last minute gift? Give them an Adafruit gift certificate.
Yep.
Okay, let's go into the real deal.
Okay, so we've got a couple of updated products, but they're updated enough. I wanted to mention them. So this is the feather wing that's a terminal block. Now it comes fully assembled, which makes sense because if you're going to get a terminal block feather wing, chances are you want to just plug and play your feather and you don't want to have to solder in all the terminal blocks. And so it's the same price, but now you get it fully assembled. It had all the parts in place already. I thought I would just show it really fast on the overheady. Hold on. So, yes, it just comes exactly like this. So there's an on-off switch, which turns on and off the enable pin. And then you just take whatever feather you have and you just pop it right into the headers. And then you can use the terminal blocks to connect up wires or sensors or NeoPixels or what have you. And it just makes it really easy to make your project, put it into your kit. And yeah, so we already had this in the store. It's just now it comes fully assembled.
Okay. All right. Next up, an oldie but goodie and revisey.
Yes. This is the console cable. I didn't bring one because it looks just like it does in the photo. We've had this console cable for a couple of years now, and we've historically had it with the prolific PL2303 chipset, which is a good defined chipset, but it's not good at really high speeds. Like it doesn't do 900 kilobaud so well, and it doesn't do unusual baud rates. So for example, like the ESP256, the data comes out at like 77 kilobaud in the beginning or whatever. So this chipset that we've replaced it with, the Scilab CP2102, does much, much better because it has a chip that can do weird baud rates and extremely high baud rates as well.
Okay.
So it's updated. Otherwise, you can't tell the difference. Just
Okay. And this is a little bit of it's not out yet, don't ask, but we were able to announce this today. So the microbit's coming to the USA. We were allowed to say that it'll be in Adafruit store. You can sign up. We can't say when they're going to be in.
Nope.
But if you sign up, you'll get an email when the microbits are able for us to ship. There was about almost 1 million of these given to UK school kids in 7th grade. It runs a Blockly-like thing. You can run MicroPython on it. It's pretty neat. But just because it's not a product that you can buy, it doesn't mean there isn't something that's something to the microbit that you can't do something
Yeah,
with.
we also kind of coincidentally this week got these connectors in.
Oh, one could say we're getting ready for something big.
It's almost like we're getting ready for something big. So this is the connector that you use with the microbit. So the microbit has a card edge connector, and so to connect to it, you can use alligator clips on 3 of the pads, but to get to like the I2C pads, you need to use a card edge connector. So I thought I would show a little bit how that works.
Let's show it.
So this is the connector, just because this is handy. So it's a through-hole connector, and you can see the contacts. And if you have a microbit, here's that card edge connect. So see how there's all these little teeth in between the big pads? So you've got like the 3-volt ground and 0, 1, 2 pins. These are all analog pins, but if you want to use the rest of the pins, all the pins in between, you'll need to snap in the microbit like that, and then you would solder in these contacts. Now there's a lot of contacts, there's 80 contacts, but not all of them are used. First off, the back half are not used at all. These aren't actually connected, and that's so that there's no chance of you putting it upside down and it doesn't work. So you can only use the top pads, and also these big contacts, they take up like 3 or 4 connections at a time. So you end up getting like, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's about 20 something pins that you get total. And some of them are just, there's like multiple connections for the 3-volt, multiple connections for ground. So this is good if you want to make accessories, things that plug into the microbit. If you want to have like a robot controller, or you want to have a more advanced interface for your microbit, this is the connector you'd use, and you just through-hole solder it to your PCB. Okay.
And with that, Lady Ada was the new products.
Yay! Short but sweet.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to do a couple extra special things this week. Don't forget the code is entangled. Help us keep doing this, because we really want to keep doing this. Top secret time. Into the Ada Vault. Ada Vault we go. Lady Ada, we have something kind of neat.
Yeah, we have a couple cool things.
Yeah, so this is a combination of Adafruit, Feather, and microbit, kind of all in one.
Okay, so
That's why
first,
there's that graphic.
Thank you. Well, there's 2 things. So the first is, if you watched Desk of Lady Ada, you've seen me design this. I made an 8-bit feather wing. I don't know, a feather bit. So it's a microbit connector, and then you can use our feathers. I kind of made a mistake with this battery connector. I should have had it sticking up instead of out. But it would be able to let you drive everything off of a LiPoly battery and built-in charging and all that good stuff. So you have to fix that, no big deal. And you get that on-off switch that I kind of like. And then, for example, you'd plug in like an OLED feather into this, and then you'd plug in your microbit. And then you have a little bit of code to talk to the feather wings. So like this demo, for example, is it's plotting the, hold on. I accidentally hit the reset button. Okay, so this one is graphing the X accelerometer. So as I move it, it will graph that motion. And then if I stand still and don't move it, then you see just a solid line. So, hey, hi. You got like snap goggles on. But the idea is like, all of the featherings that we have, the music players, the OLEDs and the displays and the 7 segments and what have you, and little joysticks, all of those will work with the microbit because it has basically the same pins as at Mega 32U4. It's just, it uses the NRF51 chipset. And what's nice is you can program this with PXT, which is the Microsoft compiled ARM language. You can use JavaScript, you can use MicroPython, and since it's an NRF51 and there's an Arduino core for it, you might even be able to use it with Arduino. So there's a lot of options for how you would be able to use this low-cost computing device.
Yeah, I like that you can maybe not know any code at all, use a Blockly-like thing, eventually maybe do a little bit of coding, eventually do like MicroPython, and then eventually do even more and have the entire feather wing ecosystem that goes with it.
Yeah, I mean,
it's kind of cool.
I've got 50 feather wings. Why not recycle them? Why not use them up again? Like even just having this OLED is just really handy. You can have it print out detailed information, because the 5x5 grid just isn't that big. And then I also have this simple breakout, just so you can plug it into a breadboard. So this is, this has already been done. I mean, this was done a few months ago. I think I showed it off on a Desk of Lady Ada, but we just didn't want to purchase and stock these until we had an idea that we were going to be stocking the microbit as well, because I wanted to have them at the same time. Mm-hmm. So we'll get this made real soon. But yeah, it's just a basic breakout for the microbit, so you can use it on a breadboard. Mm-hmm. And it just, all the pins come out, and then you can just do whatever you want.
Okay. Back in the vault.
Back in the vault.
Okay. Just once again, a reminder, code's entangled. It's going to be going on until 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. Lady Ada, we're going to be doing some questions now.
Yeah, it's that
Folks
time.
can post their questions up in the chat. Okay, I had stored up some already, Lady Ada.
Yeah.
What chip does the microbit use?
The microbit uses the NRF51H22, which is the same chip that we actually use in our Bluetooth core, but this one is actually running code natively. And there is an Arduino core for it, and you can also use Mbed, which is like a native ARM C compiler if you want, and then you program it using DAP-Link. So it's got a drag and drop bootloader.
Okay. For the ESP32, will that be able to run CircuitPython?
There is the beginnings of an ESP32 MicroPython core, but it's just not complete yet. But yeah, probably we'll have it ported. It's not going to be our main processor for a bit. The ESP32 is still going through some updates and revisions, and the core is being worked on. So some things don't even really, they don't work at all yet, just because they haven't been documented.
Okay.
So we're going to give them a little bit more time before we jump in and say, okay, like, hey, the C code isn't even done, but we're going to get Python working.
Okay, on the selective solder machine, how are the female headers held down? Glue? Is it gravity?
No, they're just placed in place, and then the solder just goes over them and solders them in place.
Okay, which FTDI USB adapter is ideal for work on reprogramming a Feather?
You wouldn't use any, because Feather has built-in USB bootloaders, or a built-in USB serial chip for the cores that need it, so you don't need any FTDI adapters.
Okay. Any plans for an FPGA Feather?
No plans.
Okay. As you already make the USA Arduinos, would you like to make the US Pi Zeros? Yeah, someone let us know. We'd like to consider doing that. Sure.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, we're open. Next up, do you guys do internships? Nope. What we do is we ask people to send us links to open source code, projects, and more that they've done, and we would like to pay them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Writing guides, it's projects, tutorials,
yeah.
all that stuff.
Lady Ada, difference between MicroPython, CircuitPython, and desktop-y Python that people know.
Desktop Python just has more libraries. The core is actually the same between MicroPython and Python. It's all Python 3.4. So the language is the same. It's just that with desktop Python, you have like a lot more operating system things because you've got the full operating system behind you. But the core elemental parts are the same. The language is the same. There's no change to the language itself.
Let's see. How many 3D printers do you own? Well, the more accurate question, or who it should be directed to, would be Noah and Pedro. I think they have dozens.
They have like a dozen or
We have
two
all of
dozen.
them.
They're like 20.
All right, next up. Is the Metro HID compatible like the Make a gamepad or keyboard?
No, because the Metro is like the Uno. It's not good for HID stuff. Check out the Feather 32U4. That has HID support. And so does like the Teensy. That's also good for HID stuff.
Okay. Are we going to keep making easy keys?
We are, but we're going to change the design a little bit
Okay.
to make it so they work better.
Okay. Is it possible to control multiple Bluetooth devices with one controller?
It's tough. Bluetooth isn't a one-to-many. It's kind of like a one central and one peripheral. It's not good for like mesh networking or multi-control.
Okay. Would you need an X-ray inspection station to make Pi Zeros? If we did, we'd get one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got a such a solder machine. Why
Yeah,
not?
we got a pick and place machine. We got
an X-ray
a
inspection.
giant oven. We got
That'd
all
be
that
cool.
stuff. Yeah. We got a nitrogen generator. We got all sorts of things.
Yeah, we get whatever we need.
Yep. Okay. Do you think we're moving away from breadboard compatible to more alligator clip compatible? I know alligator clip friendly was a core component of the circuit playground.
I think for beginners, it's really helpful. I think beginners really appreciate it because
Yeah.
a lot of schools don't have soldering equipment, or they can't. And so if you can get started with alligator clips,
Yeah.
that's kind of nice.
What soldering iron do you recommend?
For a beginner, like a Hacko is fine. Hacko 88 is a good beginner. And also, we have the just plug-in plain ones. But I think if you're going to do it, you should get a desktop station, like $100 or so.
Is there a chip that can do oh my god, the huge numbers of cap touch pads?
I mean, you probably want to use like an NPR 121, which will give you, I think, 12 pads, and you can connect up to 8 of those. So you could do like 90-something pads altogether by multiplex. You do the I2C on different address pins. And I think it can do like 3 or 4 address pins per MPR 121. And then you can use an I2C multiplexer if you needed more.
Okay. 2 things. Would you recommend mesh networking? And the next one is a recommended hot air station.
I would not recommend mesh networking, no. And then hot air.
Yeah.
We actually sell a pretty good hot air station. The one we have in the shop, in the store, it's $100. Actually works really well. Like I do all my hot air rework with it, and it's been great.
Okay. All right. And those are the questions for tonight, Lady Ada.
Sweet.
Congratulations. You got to all of them.
Yay.
All right. So don't forget, Codes Tangled. Let's give away a microbit.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. What are the rules for the trivia?
The rules are, if you've won before, you can't win again. The first person to type the answer in the chat windows that Phil here is looking at wins. Again, if you've won before, please don't enter again. You know that you've won. Please sit on your hands, go make some eggnog or something. Let someone else win. We want everyone to have a chance to get a fine prize.
Okay. Ready? Here's the question.
Here's a question.
In 1971, the International Aid Organization was founded by Bernard Kouchner and a group of journalists in Paris, France. What is this International Aid Organization that was founded in 1971 that there is often because they help a lot of people? The name of the organization.
1971. Founded by Bernard Kouchner.
It's not 42. It's not Geordie LaForge. It's not Give Me One. Doot, 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 doot. It's not Amelia Earhart.
That's actually good. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yep.
I don't know if...
It's the other language name.
Yeah.
The French
Okay,
name.
it is MSF. Congratulations, also known as Doctors Without Borders. The person who got it right in the chat was Ellery.
And then he spelled it out. Yes.
Yeah, he spelled it out correctly.
There's two names for it.
Yeah. We got the first right one anyways.
Good work.
Okay, so here's the dealio. Email support@adafruit.com and we will send you a microbit. It's this one right here, by the way.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's this one.
But this is a
We'll
logo
send you
that
a
demonstrates what
microbit.
it might be.
I think I left it on the trivia logo for all the time. I will send a note because the team will have to get this off my desk. So.
All right. Thanks, LRL.
Yeah. Good work. Email support@adafruit.com and we will send you out a microbit. That's a show for tonight. That's it,
And then
everybody.
next week we have something special.
Yeah, we'll be doing stuff. This Sunday at 7 p.m., Amanda Wozniak and you will be doing the live AdaBox 2 unboxing.
It's true.
Probably be doing some live streams and more.
Of course.
And thank you everyone out there. Don't forget the code is Entangled, 10% off all the way up until 11:59 p.m. If you waited too long, the discount code doesn't apply, but you can get a gift certificate. Thank you everyone out there, our Adafruit team here and around the world, and everyone who makes this thing possible. We very much appreciate your support every single day. Thank you for all the folks out there that watch us in all these different places. There's like just screens everywhere right now.
I know.
And a little special request I have. So over the break when I get a day off, I'm going to make a Dune blanket with like things from Dune, and there's like a Dune language and stuff. Oh look, live video ended. I guess it ends after a certain time. I think 1 hour.
Okay. Well, good.
So if anyone's an expert at Dune stuff, like could like
the language of Dune,
encyclopedic knowledge, I want to make sure I get the quiz at Haderach blanket robe right. Everybody has hobbies.
Yes.
Okay, so that's it, everyone. Here's a picture of a cat. And here is your moment of Zener. Bye-bye. I'll put up Snapchat for a bit.
Later.